Hey guys, this is Garrett Wong, also known as Ensign Harry Kim from Star Trek Voyager, and you're watching Astronomy Live.
T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Stop.
Hi folks, welcome to Astronomy Live. Getting started a little early tonight. Okay, maybe like 30 minutes early. Because we got some beautiful planets up there. And so tonight I'm going to be primarily doing this stream to track the International Space Station during a 57-degree high pass, which will occur in about 45 minutes. But until then, we can enjoy this beautiful view of Jupiter here. And let me pull up some information. Let's see what order those moons are in. Looks like we can see all 4 Galilean moons. So I'm going to go in order of bottom left to top right. So bottom left is Europa, followed by Callisto, then Io, and then up at the top right, Ganymede. Now, as you can see, I'm not using as much magnification tonight as last night. Took off the Barlow lens so that hopefully we can track ISS a little more stably tonight. Because I also realized that the crop factor of this sensor on this camera, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, is quite high because it's micro four thirds. It's a crop factor of 2, I believe, which means that the effective focal length compared to using a full-frame 35mm size sensor is like having a 2x Barlow on there when you haven't even done anything. So if you do have a 2x Barlow on there, you can take your actual focal length and basically give it a 4x multiplier to find your effective focal length, which would have meant that yesterday I had the equivalent of 8 meters of focal length if I had been using a full-frame sensor. That's a little high, as you might imagine. That starts to exceed the useful magnification of this telescope, I think. To say nothing of the difficulty of trying to track at that sort of focal length. So, just so you're aware, my view on my monitor here is going to be flipped vertically from what you guys are seeing on the stream. I've tried to flip the video, I have flipped the video for the stream so that it's true orientation, but my view is mirrored due to the star diagonal I'm using on the telescope. So if I say something that sounds weird, it's probably because I'm looking at it upside down compared to you guys, upside down and flipped over compared to you guys. Looks quite nice though. The dynamic range on this camera is just incredible. Be able to get the moons like that while also getting the cloud stripes on Jupiter, that's not something I'm used to being able to do. All my previous cameras could not have done this. It sounds so simple, yet dynamic range is difficult for most cameras. Whether I'm talking about my SLR or my Samsung camera, they really didn't have the dynamic range to be able to pull out the surface details of Jupiter at the same time that they show the moons so clearly like this. You would have either had to overexpose Jupiter and see the moons, or underexpose the moons and see Jupiter. But here I can balance it quite nicely, so that is rather nice. Unfortunately, I can't get the I have a magnifier function on the camera, but it does not translate to the external monitors. So although I can magnify it on the back of the camera, it doesn't change the view at all for the stream. There's additional resolution here. I'm streaming at 1080p. The camera's actually a 4K camera. There's additional resolution there that you could punch in on in a 1080 stream like this, but I haven't found a way to mirror my focus magnification tool on external monitors. If someone knows how to do that with a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, please let me know. As far as I know, it doesn't have that feature. It would be nice if it did. It would be really, really nice if it did. But I don't know that it has that feature. So the thumbnail for this stream is ISS, and that was from yesterday's stream of ISS, and we are going to go for ISS again tonight. And let me pull up the information, make sure I stay on target here. So it exits the Earth's shadow at 5:49 Eastern Time. That's 41 minutes from now, out of the southwest, and it'll come up past Mars, basically. Hopefully it stays out of the trees. I've tried to position the telescope in an ideal location as much as possible to maximize our ability to see it. It may go through the trees for a bit. I'm hoping that's not the case. And it reaches maximum altitude at 5:52 Eastern Time. That's when it will be right next to Mars in the sky, actually. I can see Mars very clearly, so I know I'll have it at that point, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So until then, we will enjoy this little view of Jupiter. We could swing it on over to Saturn and take a look at Saturn as well. Yeah, isn't that amazing? You can see Jupiter and the moons despite a significant magnitude difference there. Alright, I'm going to swing it on over to Saturn so we can take a look at that, because we spent a long time looking at Jupiter yesterday, which was quite nice. There we go. Okay, as far as the finder camera is concerned, that's perfectly centered right there. Well, almost. It's drifting a little bit north to south. There. That's better. Alright, I'm going to grab my tablet so I can pay attention to the chat, but still have my phone available to control the camera. Alright, I'll be right back. Hey, Dick Dawson. Good to see you. Is the stream running fine for everybody else? I didn't ask, but it's green on OBS, so it should be running stable. And just so you guys know, in addition to the fact that I can't zoom in on the view easily, at least not on the back of the camera, there's also YouTube streaming compression to contend with. So the quality of the view will be better in the recording than on the live stream. But it's fun to live stream and show you guys what I'm doing and show ISS live. I don't think there's many other YouTubers that do that, so even with those limitations, I think it's still worth doing. Alright, good. Glad it's working fine for everybody. The event will happen at, well, in about 30 minutes. Yeah, I wanted to get everything running early here and just let people enjoy a tranquil view of Saturn and Jupiter. Yeah, I cranked up the sound tonight. I finally figured out how to properly boost the levels in OBS. You have to go to advanced properties on the sound, not just properties. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So now I've cranked up the sound on the blue snowball. Oh, thank you. 20 DKK from Martin Milter Bay. Hi, Al. Love your work. Do more with Scott Manley. Thank you. I will try to. If it's successful tonight, you know, maybe Mr. Manley would like to do a stream showing ISS with the Dragon docked to it at some point, or something like that. I think we lucked out on the weather tonight, though. There's lingering clouds in the northwest. Knock on wood, they're staying there for now. but I've seen that weather pattern before. Lived at this house now 2 years as of yesterday, and I've seen that weather pattern a few times when doing late night astronomy like this. Unfortunately, it's usually a harbinger that at some point they'll move this way. I'm not sure what the deal is with the weather pattern there, but I've seen that before where it's just off in the northwest and then it gradually moves this way. So hopefully we'll beat the clouds tonight. Fortunately, ISS is coming out of the southwest, so it should be free of clouds as long as things don't change drastically in the next half an hour. But in the south, it looks clear. It's pretty crystal right now. Oh, thank you, Dick. Yeah, I might have to get a tutorial from you at some point on how to properly do sound. It's not my wheelhouse for sure. For the longest time, years and years ago, when I started doing these streams, I only ever used the built-in microphone on a laptop, which of course was terrible, especially when I was out on an island most nights and it was windy. People hated me for that. Told me to get a real microphone, so I finally did. At least I got a Blue Snowball. Better than a laptop microphone, at least. But I don't have a windscreen for it. I don't really know what to do with audio. So, alright, well, let's swing it back to Jupiter, I guess. We can watch for any impacts. Occasionally, an asteroid will hit Jupiter and you'll see an impact flash. I mean, it's pretty rare, but you never know. That would be cool if we caught that on stream, right? So, let's swing it back to Jupiter. Do a search for dead cats. Yeah, I've got a dead cat for the Rode microphone I've got for the camera itself, but I'm not using that tonight, of course. And it doesn't really fit over the Blue Snowball. I'm sure they make a dead cat for a Blue Snowball. That's probably something I should invest in. Yeah, Dick, you do a really good job with the audio on Non Sequitur and what am I saying? Non Sequitur, the Shill Show. Sorry, I read your comment at the same time I was talking there. And I'm looking forward to being on with you this Friday, isn't it? So, yeah, that's coming up in a few days. So yeah, I'll be on with the Silly Shills show on EIE this Friday night, if I'm remembering the schedule correctly. So, just want to thank you all for coming out at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, even earlier if you're on the Pacific Coast. I know it's an early morning, but that's just when the station happens to be making these passes overhead at twilight, when it's visible. So, that's when I'm gonna do these streams then. But the good news is, right now the weather pattern is such that it's much better odds for good weather in the morning than in the evening, so it works out. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to do something about that sometime between now and Friday. Oh, you're over the pond, are you, Raber? 11 a.m. So that puts you. Oh wow, you're in Europe or something, I'm guessing. Noon in Finland. Okay, so well, I might just be attracting more European observers at this time. There you go. 2:23 a.m. for you, Dick, huh? Sorry to get you up so late here. Oh, we got a satellite passing below Jupiter. You guys can't see it, but it's on the finder camera. Huh, that's funny. I really can't see it by eye. The finder camera is sensitive enough to easily pick it up, but by eye, I don't see it. Yes, we have a very global audience here at Astronomy Live. But even if you are watching the live stream right now, be sure to check back later for the recorded video, because that will be in 4K, and I'll be able to process it and hopefully get some good quality video out of it. Depending on how it goes, I may just elect to punch into a 1080 video, though, out of the 4K. That might be what I end up doing. To just zoom in on the space station in the video after I stabilize it, of course. Please post a picture of my setup. Sure. I don't really have an easy way of doing that at the moment. I'm on my tablet with the chat. You would think I would just have such a picture handy. It's an 8-inch LX200 Classic, I can tell you that, with a viewfinder camera on top and a Blackmagic. Is what I'm running as the... Okay, I don't really have an easy way of doing this on the tablet at all. Okay. Might have a way of doing it on the phone. Can't lose track of the time, though. That's another feature I need to add to my satellite tracker program, is a timer to show me when I need to start paying attention. Okay, well, here you go. I'll just share Red's tweet. So Red's Rhetoric tweeted this after the last launch we filmed. My setup is on the left, and it looks pretty much the same tonight. So there you go. There's a picture of my setup. Mine's on the left, his is on the right. Yeah, I could add a clock to OBS, sure, but I mean, like, I want it in the program to tell me a countdown just automatically based on the orbital elements of the space station when it's going to rise. It's easy enough to do, I think. I think I know how to make that a pretty easy operation. I just haven't gone and programmed it yet. Alright, let's see. Time is ticking away here. So again, it rises. It exits Earth's shadow at 11 degrees altitude at 5:49 a.m. So we've got 20 minutes now until the pass. Blue Earth thing. Yeah, I think I've seen him. Has he got kind of a deep voice? I don't know. I associate, if it's the guy I'm thinking of, he's kind of got a deep voice. Yeah, I've got a Schmidt Cassegrain telescope, 8-inch LX200, and I do use it for deep sky astrophotography as well. So if you check out some of my previous videos, I've got some recordings of live streams doing deep sky. I've got an SBIG ST2000 XCM with an adaptive optics AO7 for doing deep sky observations as well. Yeah, dew could be a problem, but I do have dew heaters. I've got a Kendrick dew heater on the front of the scope to keep the dew off. So it is mitigated and dealt with. If you're going to do any serious observing with a Schmidt Cassegrain, though, you must have a dew heater, at least in Florida. It's humid enough here that it's a mandatory purchase, not an option. They do make dew shields, but unless they have integrated heaters in the dew shield, they do make a combo. It's like a dew shield plus heater. I've seen that before. But if it's not that, if it's just a dew shield, it's not going to save you. It'll buy you maybe an hour. No problem. Glad to answer any questions. Yeah, what are we at now? We are at 18 minutes till ISS. Starting to see some signs of twilight in the east, but it's all good. Everything's aligned, everything's ready to go, knock on wood. All I have to do is hit the big start button and it'll start tracking. I generally listen to Stellar Drone while observing. My nerves get a little high when I'm doing satellite tracking, though, especially at the space station. For years and years, I've been tracking the space station, ever since I bought the telescope, basically, back in 2004. So it's been 16 years now that I've been doing this, or attempting to do this. But for the longest time, I really struggled with it. It was hit or miss as to whether I would get anything on any given night when trying to track it. But now it's pretty much a guarantee with my software. All I have to do is point and click. But I still get those same nervous feelings of not being entirely confident I'll be able to pull it off. Just because everything is critical on this, and there's so many things that can go wrong. If you do anything wrong, if you don't align the camera properly, if you have a focus issue, an exposure issue, these can all mess you up. I think I've got it now, though, where things are fairly robust, knock on wood, and especially at this magnification, it shouldn't be a problem at all. What angular size will ISS have? Probably similar to what you see with Jupiter right now. But instead of a circle, you'll see the sort of H shape of the station. You'll see the solar arrays, you'll see the habitat modules, and if you look real closely, you'll see a little white dot dangling off of one end. That is the Dragon module. It's docked at PMA 1, I believe, and so it hangs off kind of the front end of the station, the part that is preceding the station as it travels through the sky. And it forms kind of a T shape with the Columbus and JAXA. What's the name of the JAXA module? I always forget it. It'll come to me later. But the JAXA module and the ISS Columbus module kind of form a T shape with the Dragon capsule hanging off the end. Alright, let me just test the recording on the camera, make sure it's recording to the memory card properly. Yep. All working well there. Kibo, yes, Kibo, that's the name I was looking for, thank you. I always blank out on that one for some reason. Alright, we're coming down to the wire here, down to 4 minutes, right? Or am I... Wait a minute. I might be off by... I'm off by 10 minutes there. 14 minutes, not 4 minutes, sorry. Had a major brain fart there. I'm going to blame that on waking up at 3 a.m. Alright, thank you, Astronomy livestream. Yeah, 45 to 60 arc seconds. Sounds about right. So, for reference, Jupiter here is 46.8 arc seconds in diameter. So it's about in that range. Hey, international rocket launches. Welcome to the stream. SatTraker theoretically works with EQ mounts. I haven't actually tested that in the field. So no promises. Give it a try. I've tested it indoors, and it seems to work, but that's not always a guarantee. Also, there seems to be issues with some mount types that ostensibly support the move axis method through ASCOM. They give weird errors. I haven't figured out what's going on. It works with Celestron mounts. At least my Nexstar Seems to work fine with Nexstar mounts and the Nexstar computer system. Beyond that, I don't know. It's the irritating thing to me about it is that I can test it all day long on my hardware, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll work on your hardware, even though that's what's supposed to happen. That's the whole point of ASCOM, right? Is universal drivers and universal command set. I should be able to write the code, and it should work either for all telescopes or no telescopes. If it's giving an error on one, it should give an error for all, because it's supposed to be universal. And yet, it doesn't. And I don't know why. I'm working on moving away from ASCOM towards Indy as a platform to see if there's any greater success there with cross-platform compatibility out of the box. That's why I waded into ASCOM to begin with. So, just a little pet peeve of mine about ASCOM for a moment. But yes, it's also coded to work with EQ mounts for the LX200 and for ASCOM. Yeah, 10 minutes to go. Can I add a clock to the screen? Not right now. We're too close in. I'm not going to mess with anything. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Later, yeah, it'd be nice to do that. I'll have to play around with that later for maybe next time we do this. It's a good idea. I just didn't think of it earlier. Seven minutes to go. All right. No, I did not wake Reds up to watch this. Whether he wakes up on his own and joins the stream is on him, but... On which part of the screen? Probably all of it. It'll probably dance around the screen. It's not going to be super stable until I stabilize the footage in post. And right now, like you can see, we're pointed at Jupiter. The scope's going to have to swing down towards the station as soon as I hit start tracking. Minutes. I'm going to sync the clock for good measure. Okay. Computer clock is synced. Let's fire up the camera software. Make sure we're good to go there. Oh, okay, Dick. Good to know. Alright. Some Apollo stuff and space tomfoolery. Alright. Sounds like fun. T-minus 3 minutes now. Definitely see a blue twilight in the east. So yeah, wish me luck. And if you enjoy the stream, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Two minutes. Alright. Alright, I'm going to put down the tablet, so I'll check out the chat after the tracking. And now okay, 1 minute. Starting recording. Right. Here we go. It'll take it a second to get down there. Alright. As soon as it comes out of the shadow, I should see it. Hopefully. Here it comes. Starting to see it. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. Oh. Huh. Somehow the viewfinder got shut off. Something got pulled. Huh. That's odd. Did a cord get yanked out? What's going on there? That's really weird. Cord's in, power's on, but I have no video I have no viewfinder video. That's fun. Alright, well there's a frame from the recording when we did have the station, and you can see Dragon hanging off the left side. That's that dot. Oh, sorry, for you guys, I always forget, it's flipped. It's the right side. Sorry, hanging off the right side. Yeah, that little dot hanging off the right side there. Let me see if I can blow this up on the stream. Okay, now you can probably see it a little bit clearer. Yeah, that's Dragon right there, hanging off the right side of the station. How cool is that? I still don't know what happened to my viewfinder video, though. That's disturbing. It suddenly went out. Fortunately, it waited until after most of the pass had already happened to suddenly go out. So to describe what I'm doing here, I've got motorized tracking, yes, with the LX200. It's automatically corrected, though, using viewfinder video. So it's got a viewfinder video camera, which is just a modified security camera with a security camera lens that rides piggyback on top of the telescope, and it locks onto the light from ISS and tracks it based on that. But because it's a security camera, I'm using a capture card, and right now that capture card's showing a blue screen indicating it's not getting a feed from the camera. But the camera shows that it's powered on and it's plugged in, and the video cable's still plugged in. I don't know what happened here. I'm wiggling the cables and it's not coming on. So it seems like my viewfinder died in the middle of this tracking, which is amazing. I wonder if something got pulled. Huh. I mean, it was almost getting pulled, but it wasn't quite getting pulled. So, what's going on? Okay, that's weird. I unplugged the camera, plugged it back in, and now it works. That's quite disturbing. I'm not sure what happened there. It's not a good thing, though. I may not rely on that camera in the future. I do have a different camera I can use, but it's not as sensitive. For ISS, it doesn't need to be. For dimmer satellites, it does. Yeah, it's not drawing power from the USB port. It's got its own power plug, independent of the laptop. So, unplugging that power plug and plugging it back in, reset the camera, and it works now. So I'm wondering if maybe the power on the camera got interrupted a little bit. The connection that goes into the back of the camera from that power plug is rather flimsy, and it's not like a regular plug. It's, you know, one of these. You gotta strip the wire and screw it into place, and it gives me trouble from time to time. But the weird thing was that it showed power being on. The camera was lit up, but it wasn't delivering anything. Anyway, resetting the power on the camera fixed it. Doesn't matter now, and like I said, fortunately it waited until basically ISS was going away before it did that. So no big deal. But If it had happened earlier, that would have been catastrophic, which is why I say I'm always a little bit nervous when tracking ISS, because you never know. There's 1,000 things that can go wrong, and if any one of them does, you're not going to be tracking ISS today. You know, space is hard, and although the stakes are a lot lower here than launching a rocket, it's still hard. Anyway, I'm quite happy with that image. I am quite happy. Yeah, it would have been nice to magnify it some more with the Barlow lens, but that's honestly a bit overkill. I need like a 1.5x Barlow. I don't know if they even make such a thing, but I don't need a full 2x Barlow with this camera. It's really a little too much, although I could have gotten away with it today maybe, but it would make the image look a little fuzzy just because you're exceeding the useful resolution of the telescope. Here you're not. Without the Barlow lens, you're definitely not exceeding the useful resolution of the telescope, which is why ISS looks so nice and crisp and clear in that image. So I guess that's a worthy trade-off. And what I'll probably do for the video, instead of just doing the whole 4K video, because yeah, you can say it's 4K, but most of it's black, most of it's blank, because the ISS is not occupying the whole image. It'd be better to just punch in on it with a 1080 frame once I've stabilized the video. So it'll be more like this instead of what you saw during the stream before I magnified it. It'll look more like this, stabilized, and that'll look nice. And I absolutely love the dynamic range of this camera, where you can see the solar arrays as well as the bright habitat sections that are reflecting sunlight. And you see how bright those habitat sections are versus the dim amber solar arrays. Before, I had the worst time trying to get both of those things in the same shot in one exposure. I'd either be blowing out the habitat sections or I'd be underexposing the solar panels to the point that in some cases it would look like there was a missing solar panel because they're so dim. But with this camera you get such good dynamic range and you can really see all the features of the space station. So that's fantastic. I love it. Alright, well I think that's going to do it for this morning. Thank you so much everyone for coming out here. So there is a 1.6x achromatic Barlow lens. Okay, well I will have to invest in that. That sounds like a good buy. Yeah, a 1.5x Barlow, they do make it? Okay, good. Well, that answers that question. That's what I'm going to have to go for next time, is get myself a 1.5x Barlow and throw it on the camera. I think that'll be the sweet spot. I mean, as it is, this thing is it's got such a high crop factor that if this were a Nikon P something thousand, they would claim that this was a 4,000 millimeter lens with the 2x crop factor added onto the 2 meter focal length. But yeah, 1.5x should do it in the future. But yeah, even this right here, this is not bad. This is a nice image, and you can clearly see Dragon docked to the station. So very happy with that. All right, thanks everybody for coming out, and check back later for the processed video. Till next time, clear skies, folks.